Huzzah.
Did you?
What?
Who are you?
I have no reason to say who I am yet. I don't haven't ran the intro.
Are you gonna run it, or you want me to introductions first?
Well, how do you want to do it?
I'll introduce myself first. Then we can do the intro.
Okay.
Hey guys,
Well,
this.
wait. Whoa. No one can hear you.
Hey, let me get my stuff right. There we go. Hopefully everybody can hear me now. It's me, Lola, the co-publisher of Last Call Comics and the host of GeekGasm. For those you don't know what GeekGasm is, it's a show about all things indie comics from a female's point of view. We got female creators and female fans, but guys are welcome to join too. It's fun for everybody. I just like to add a little flair for the females. So today I am joined by Marian Grant, who is on loan from me from Indie Live, and he'll be controlling the board for me like I do for his show. So, Variant, introduce yourself.
Well, everybody, I'm Varian Grant. Gosh, publisher for too damn long. Uh, owner, a founder of Indie Vault Media LLC, and great big comic book fan. I first book I ever published was a black and white interior action comedy called Psycho Sirens, drawn by Chris Sanchez, written by Eric Anderson. I I created the book, but they did all the drawing and scripting because that's how I did it back then. But now I draw my own books and a lot of them, and write them and do all that good fun stuff. And of course, I started Indie Vault to help indie comics and try to because I love the industry. Stephen Lopez in the chat says, "Yo, my freaks and geeks." Hello, Stephen. Yeah, so he just Lola wanted to show him, we gave it to her. So here we are. We're gonna hit the intro and then we'll come back and jump right into it. Yeah, there we go. So we are live and we do have oh, let's see here. Where's my chat stuff? Sorry. Facebook is going kind of crazy for me. I will put that there. There we go. All right. So yeah, we're gonna talk about LOLA V-Day Special.
Today, whatever pops up, females in the industry, drama, the usual. There's always something going on in the indie comics,
Unfortunately, there is.
especially right now.
Um,
And thank you, Steven.
Valentine's Day sucks.
Why is that?
I don't know if Valentine's Day sucks.
We can't hear you.
Well, I don't know if Valentine's Day sucks. I do know that Valentine's Day, when I was younger and single, I didn't really like the day as much as like. But I'd always get a Valentine. Like I'd find somebody, some some girl, because I'm straight male, so I'd find a girl that didn't have Valentine, and usually, I always had one fallback friend that I would go hang out with for Valentine's Day. And there was no, I mean, I think we had dated before, but like as kids, like as middle school or so. If I was ever single on Valentine's Day, I'd go hang out with her, and yeah, that's pretty much how that went. Oh, we got guests. We got guests. Hello, lady.
Hey there.
Hello. Can you hear? I said, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you now.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself real quick?
Okay, I'm Katrina. I don't know what to say about myself. I really suck at this part. I
What do
am.
you do?
I'm an author and a freelance editor, and I also own and run GeekGasm.net.
Awesome.
Competition.
Yeah, you wish.
She's plugging her network. She's plugging her website. Oh my goddamn ear.
I don't do the same thing for you.
It's like if you had like an earphone in, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Actually, when you're yelling about the earphones, you're yelling in that person's ear, but because you're behind, normally you're behind like a big, studio sheet of glass and computers, and I'm like, what is she doing?
being naughty.
Yeah.
Always. We're talking about Valentine's Day right now.
Yes,
How do you feel about it?
I think it is what you make of it. I tend to not celebrate personally, but I celebrate it more as just a day of love for everybody. Well, those who deserve it, I guess.
Oh, I don't know. Celebrating it as a day of love can for everybody nowadays. That's not loving everybody. Get you caught up.
Yeah. Not that kind of loving everybody.
I want to roll into Lola's questions here, and obviously, Katrina, you can weigh in on.
I always have fun questions.
These questions are a little weird too because I can't see what they say until I bring them up on screen. So,
Surprise!
Yeah. I'm sorry. If I can't see what they say. Here we go.
You need to splat it on.
Oh. Oh, that is really really something to go with that comment.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to read it?
I'll read it. It's this is my little brother's favorite show. You made a man out of him. It's from JD. Yeah.
I don't know how to take that. Thank you for writing in, JD. But I don't know how old your little brother is, so I'm really not gonna comment on that one. But I appreciate it.
Yes, JD. I don't know if you noticed, but in the upper right hand corner of this program, it says TVMA DLSV. I'm not adding a U to the end of that. This will not be DLSVU. We're not turning the Special Victims Unit. And on top of that, it says mature. You letting your little brother watch this show. It's a violation of, ethics. Said Lola be my Valentine. Yeah. She could be everyone's Valentine. She's she appreciates all the gifties.
I do.
So we've got past that question. Here's the next one. You've talked about having your ass slapped at a crowded con by a stranger, but how would you deal with a sexually aggressive fan? That's from Boss Man. Thanks for writing in, Boss Man. We'll let Katrina answer that first. She's the guest.
Oh,
Yeah. Go ahead, Katrina.
I mean, I think we've talked about this a little bit before on another show, or I talked about it with somebody at some point.
You want me to take it off your face?
You take it off your face, thanks.
All right. Yep. Okay.
Hey, look, it's me. I mean, I've talked about this on some show before, but realistically, the best way for me to deal with that is just security. Because if they're going to do it to me, they're going to do it to somebody else, and you need to cut that off as soon as you can.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I would do. Go to security.
I want to go to security. I mean, but then I've never. Well, if I had a sexually aggressive fan who was giving me unwanted sexual advances, yeah, I'd probably end up having to get security. But I have a temper, so I'd probably put hands on him before I went and got security.
Even if it was a sexually aggressive man of the opposite sex.
See, that's weird. That's weird because I probably would get security at that point. But if it was a man, I hate to say it, we're locking up. Like he's gonna get some contact. Don't know if
Perhaps not of the variety he wanted, but
yeah, it's kind of messed up. I know. I mean, and it depends on what the woman did. I mean, there's a couple things a woman could do that might elicit, a quick smack across the face. Like she came to me and just grabbed my junk, like, give me that. No one puts their hands on my Lucky Charms. Anyway. I guess this is from Germs writing in. I guess I don't think there's anything wrong with a hot ass chick using her looks to sell her comics. Use what God gave you and make those ends.
There's nothing wrong with it, but it can get you into drama too.
can you back up your looks with quality work?
Exactly.
Not me.
But I mean, females use what they have all the time to push their product. That's just how it is nowadays. But then some complain when they get unwanted attention from it.
Right.
That is true. You can't, and I get really upset, and me and Lola have talked about this, but right now, especially, I don't think, if a woman is showing cleavage, as Lola often does, if a girl is wearing a short skirt, super high heels, and she looks, astonishing, it doesn't give you the right to, say and do things to her. And if that's why you bought her book, I mean, I guess, how do you guys feel about that? Would you be okay, Katrina, if a guy has a crush on you and that's why he bought your book, not for the quality of the work that went into it, but because he, likes the way you look?
I say that as terrible as I wouldn't be bothered by that.
Mm.
I don't want to say, a sale is a sale is a sale.
Mm-hmm.
But, I can't control why people buy things. I think as long as it doesn't cross a line into, you think you're buying me because you're buying my product.
That's fair. I think I mentioned this before, not on this show, but I had a guy come to me at a con, and he gave me some money for a book, and I'm like, oh, which book do you want? He says, no, man, no book. That's for you. I really like what you're doing. And us brothers got to stick together. And I instantly felt like, oh crap, he's giving me money because we're both black. And I really want him to buy my book. I really want him to take a book with him, but he would not hear of it. He would not hear of taking a book. So I was like, oh well, this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I kind of want you to buy my, I want you to take a book with you so you could at least, you might become a fan. You might become a critic. You might be able to give me some advice about, something I'm doing in the book that you don't like. But I think if I were a female, I would be a little upset that, oh, this guy's buying my book because he thinks I'm cute, or he thinks, like you said, buying my book, he's buying me. Every book he buys, I think he's closer to betting me. And there are some people out there who will do that, and they will feel that way. And I think some people even subconsciously start to feel that way. They don't know that's what they're doing, but in the back of their heads, hey, I'm like 4 more stamps from, getting to Katrina land. I buy 4 more books. So one day, imagine, Katrina, some guy's gonna walk up to you at the show, slap like 5 covers down, and say, "All right, what's your room number?" It's my time.
Yeah, 555, get a life. Not happening.
Do you think that I talked to a guy earlier, and this is gonna infuriate a lot of you guys, people watching, people listening in, and you guys tell me what you think. And Katrina, I know you'll probably cut me off and go ballistic, but I spoke to a gentleman earlier, and there's a certain amount of drama going on right now. And the guy told me, he says, you know what? This would not have happened 20 years ago. This wouldn't have happened 30 years ago. Because 30 years ago, we didn't have all these B words in the community. They were, they were not a part of the community. If they were behind a table dressed as Vampirella, or behind a, they were somebody's, like a help for the weekend or something. But they were not in there. And there were a few. I mean, there's been female writers and female artists for as long as we can remember. But as long as I can remember. I mean, I'm 37, so I don't know that much. Don't tell anybody. But I think that what he was saying is that we got all these females now, and that's why these problems are happening. Because he said that anytime we include females in the geek space, there's always allegations of improper behavior. And I'll let you weigh in on that. Both of you, actually. Again, Lola, let your guest go first, and I'll hear from you.
Well, I would say that women have been a part of the
Lola now?
women have been part of the geek industry forever. We've been maybe quieter than we are now, but we have been around. I would say he's right, though, to the extent that 20, 30 years ago, we wouldn't have been hearing about this. I think the difference is now that as women, we feel supported, which gives us the confidence to speak up and speak out about things that are happening that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Because even like 10 years ago, when I first got into the comic book industry, it wasn't like it is now. It was mainly dudes. And then you had like your booth babes and stuff like that. And a couple female artists here and there. But it wasn't so drama focused. There wasn't that much drama. So I think he has a point.
A couple years ago, about 9 years, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, I got invited out to a school to do a career day. And as I'm, teaching the class how to draw, there's a little girl in the back of the classroom raise her hand, and she says, "Excuse me, sir." I felt really bad about this. Out of a twist. "Excuse me, sir. May I have some more?" She says, "Can girls be comic book artists too?" And in that moment, my heart broke. Because I'm like, oh my God, this little girl doesn't know she can be anything she wants to be. She thinks there's jobs for girls. And so I think that I left her my pencil. I believe I left her my pencil. And and an eraser. I gave it to her. And so, I hope that she followed her, idea of, hey, I want to draw for a living. Poor girl, I shouldn't have did that to her. But the other thing is, I hate to think that I told this little girl to come into an industry now where she's going to be looked at like a sexual object, or she's going to be preyed upon. And, in that aspect, job, to leave this industry a little bit better than I found it. I think that all these different voices, be they male, female, add to a great, it's a nice mix, and it's a wonderful thing when it works properly. When one voice isn't trying to scream over the other one, when somebody isn't overpowering the other person with their ideals or their politics. And I think that's when this works really well, when there's all these different ideas. But at the same time, there's always something that happens. And when bad things like this happen, and when when someone says, well, there's too many B words in the industry, and that's why we're having these problems. Say again, I'm sorry.
There's too many toxic people in the industry right now. We let in a lot of toxic people.
Well, let me. We didn't let them in. Go ahead, Karina.
Oh, I was just say, is it so much that there's too many B words in the industry, or is it that we're finally taking out the trash?
Probably taking out the trash. Like I said, there's a lot of toxic people in here that were in it just to make a quick buck
Yeah.
or see what they can get from the industry, and now it's all coming to a head.
Yeah. I mean, because in in most cases, I don't believe that most writers, I think most writers. I've met a lot of writers during comics, and most of the writers I've met usually are. I don't want to say they're all females, but there's a higher percentage of female writers I met than male writers. And I've wondered why that is, like, because I know there's some fantastic female artists out there, and I know quite a bit now. But I've met some very genuine people. So to say, at the same time, I've ran across some bad ones. I guess I've ran across people who have, because look, put it this way: all the bitches I know are men. And I don't want to, I don't want to say, oh, I'm sorry, there was stuff in the chat. I'm missing messages. I'm sorry, guys. There've always been Weinsteins in comics. We just never heard of them before, above the whispers. And then the advocating channel says, our culture has simply started holding people accountable. We cannot be okay. Now this has been a standard practice. These bitches stood up and said enough. Good for them. Takes a bitch or an asshole to change things. Yeah, I mean, and I agree with that. I agree with that. I mean, we got
But when someone comes out with an issue, let me repeat myself now.
Good.
When someone comes out with an issue and they're complaining, when people try to help push that issue and make it more aware, then they're like, oh, no. I don't want this.
Well,
Then why even talk about it in the first place?
I think. Unmute my mic. I think what happens when you're doing any type of like, for instance, a couple years ago when I first started my first company, and because we're not talking about all women here. We're talking about some guys that have done some fucked up stuff. When I first started in this industry, I ran out of money. I think I told the story a bunch of times now, but I ran out of money. First company, ran out of money, didn't have enough to pay people. And I had artists get mad, what do you mean you don't have any money? It's all gone. I don't have anything. It got to the point where I had to, I mean, it was really bad. I remember at one point I had like, oh gosh, $70 in my pocket. And I owed one artist $50. I owed another artist $100. And I remember telling the one artist I owe $50 to, I said, look, I'm going to give you this $50 so you can be paid off. I don't, but please, don't let anybody know I paid you. Okay. I give him $50 in cash. He signs a receipt. He's gone. That motherfucker wasn't out the door before he had called the artist I actually owed $100 to and told him, hey, Varian paid me. So it was, and then that artist called me, hey, that's not fair. You paid him. And they didn't know my situation, that I didn't have. And I tried to, get one person off my back that I owed, rather than just not paying either of them. I mean, I guess maybe I should have not paid either of them. But you're going to get called to the carpet, whether you did the right thing or the wrong thing. But there are, like, let's see, hold on. I'm sorry, I see messages. Okay. LP is here. Varian knows my spiel. Hey, Larry, how's it going? But I mean, like, Larry, for instance. Larry is, I don't want to put Larry's business out there again, but Larry is banned from a Comic-Con for standing up for Vic Mignogna. and he's banned. He can't go back. And he's in Canada. They only got one Comic Con, you know. I mean, he's got a few. He's all the way up there. Like he's not in like little Detroit, Canada. He's in, Canada proper. You know, where they, I honestly say a boot and a all the time, and begin. I'm not making fun of you, Larry, but it's true. You got two Comic Cons up there, I think, and they tell this man he can't go to one. He's got a job on top of that. So, he can't just take off and, head across, leave the country to come to America to go to a con. So he has to stay, he stays in Canada, tries to make his money there. And they tell him he can't come to the shows. Now, he's going to do better. He's going to save money. He's going to still get his fans. He's going to have to get him to the internet. The internet's open up. A couple years ago, it would have been a death sentence. But now the way the internet works, he could push that, yeah, he says we got a few. I was invited to the Kitchener Comic Con. Now,
isn't Kitchener in Ontario like Little Detroit?
yeah. I mean, I believe so. Is that Larry? Is that in Ontario? Is that the Ontario Con? I know that the Kitchener Comic Con. I just heard. I read some articles online. I won't talk about them, but I did read something online that told me that the Kitchener Comic Con people need to, there's some issues going on there. It's a 20. He says, he said it is. It's a 20 drive.
20 miles, 20 hours, 20
probably
minutes?
20 hours, and it's probably 20 hours because Canada is freaking huge, and.
Yes.
You got to take Queen I-5 and all this other stuff.
QEW.
Yeah, all this other stuff to get around the snowy tundra that is that country. And I've gone to Canada. I had a friend ask me. She said, "Hey, could you take me to Sarnia?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take you to Sarnia." And she didn't tell me that it would have been so much simpler to bring her ass back across the Mackinac and drive from on the Michigan side, which took 2 hours. Through Canada, it took hours because Canada was not built for travel.
It was just with dog sleds.
No one was meant to live there. No one was meant to live there. Outside of Toronto, like I'm going to London. Oh, you in London, Canada? London, Canada. First of all, that freaked me out. Secondly. What? London, Canada? I haven't been there. I've never even looked up London, Canada. I'll do that tonight after the show is over. I'm going on Google Maps and I'm looking up London, Canada. I need to see what's there. But Toronto? That's it.
It's in Ontario. I'll narrow it down for you.
And everybody is like in Canada. I like Canadians. Don't get me wrong. I like Canadians.
No, I'm not from Canada.
Yeah. Is she from Canada? Yeah, she's not defending you either. She's not defending you. She's from Little Michigan. Let's see.
I've lived close to Canada numerous times.
I grew up in Detroit. That's close to Canada.
Yeah, I lived in Sault Ste. Marie, and I also lived in Buffalo, New York. So
okay, well, yeah, you were almost a knucklehead, just by
almost.
Yeah. The advocating channel says you have to understand not to mix issues. Sexual misconduct is the same as Marcel, who steals people's IP. When you mix them, we lose track. Both are bad, but one is forgivable by working hard. The other is a violation of trust, and there is a rare way back. Which is which? I'm just kidding. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, look, the thing is, any industry worth being in is gonna have its issues. You're gonna have your people in there who shouldn't be there, maybe shouldn't be a part of it. People who I've run across people that I want to kill because they suck as individuals, and I love this industry. I love comic books. I love getting up. I mean, there were mornings where I woke up happy that this is what I do, and then there are mornings, where you start seeing them mistreated, and you want to lash out. And that's, I mean, like, and because of like this show, and I have seen it mistreated quite often. I mean, we get comments and questions all the time, to the show's emails, and about, this happened and that happened and this sucks. But I mean, that does weigh on you. That weighs on you because you wake up every morning and you realize, oh great, have another show tonight. I gotta open up this email and see what people are gonna say. The email is like a complaint box. It is like a complaint slot. I don't like this. Fix it. And we don't have that. We don't have the ability to fix any of that. All we can do is get on here and be talking heads. You guys are just looking at the screen like.
Yeah, we're just letting you talk and rant. You've been ranting all day.
I just feel bad. I just feel bad for everybody. I feel bad for Larry who can't, go to Comic Cons. He's been invited to one. That man has a book. The man has a book he has to push. And he can go to one Comic Con because he supported Vic Mignogna, who, some people felt was guilty. Some people felt he was guilty. Why do we keep Never mind. I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet. Be quiet before I get doxxed and people are knocking on my door in the morning. Yeah. Police are here. Get on the floor. What you? While I'm eating my cereal and shit.
I won't be here in the morning, so you're on your own.
I won't be there either. Sorry.
Mouthful of cinnamon toast crunch. Getting brought out my boxers. What did I do?
Well, you're about to get frostbite. They take you out in your boxers.
Oh, they will. Yeah. They don't care. They don't care about black people. Well, they'll bring us out in our boxers. They want to let me put my lotion on first. Wait a minute. Let me put some lotion on my knees first. Nope. You going out there. They might put a robe on. They might. Larry says, LOL, the one under fire for having a guest that I defended. Yeah, I mean, and look at Larry still being protective of the show. Still being protective of the show because he hopes that one day, he might get to go back.
Hopefully he does.
No, but they're not going to let him back. They're not. Because they hold the power.
They probably won't.
Those people will wait. They will wait. They will sell the show to Katrina under the agreement that she never let Larry Patrick Higgins or his assigns into that show. They will block you for life.
He just has to call himself LP Higgins, and I won't know the difference. Let him in.
Yeah. He says next year, and I will be going there. He's and I won't be going back. Yeah. Larry, I don't.
Not even with me running it. I worked so hard.
I would like to see Katrina run a convention sales floor. Katrina, let me ask you this. Let's see here.
She would go crazy.
Yeah. I don't make
Katrina. She would probably just start kicking people out.
Yeah.
I'd start I've got teenagers, so I'd probably just start treating them all like that. The mom voice would come out and be like, "This is your final warning. Next time I have to come over here, you're out. That's it. You can go sit in your car and think about what you did."
We have I know a young lady who she runs art shows, like high art. A lot of painters and shit, and they have their tents. It's an outside art fair, and she's like in charge of all the artists. And I think she's new. And what? I would do Katrina. What? That's not what he meant. That's not what he meant. I'm pretty sure that was a typo. I'm pretty sure it was a typo. Unless it wasn't, I would do Katrina.
I think he means he would go to whatever show I was running.
Yeah.
I think that's what that means. But if not, thank you. That's very flattering.
And then he'll do you there. Ooh, underground. It's so easy to make jokes today, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna Friend, I'm gonna be the bigger man today. Yeah. What was I gonna say?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She does these shows, and she said the artists are horrible. Like they get mad because the guy next to him has a more ornate tent than they do. And they'll demand that you like take his tent down. He shouldn't have all those. Look, his tent is bejeweled. My tent isn't bejeweled. He has a bejeweled tent. I want you to move his tent. Even the cat is perplexed as to why.
he's completely confused by this whole thing. No, you're not going across.
So it's, to me, it's weird because artists can be a handful. Look at here. Look
who comes out of the woodwork, right?
That's right. Rebel.
So I apologize to Katrina for a little typo, Man, I didn't mean to shock anyone. You know what I mean? He's just like Vic.
Yeah, he's just like him. Said he'd do it right there on the screen.
Yeah, we all saw it. Screen cap that shit.
He doesn't even know.
And the scary thing is somewhere out there, someone actually probably did that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, good luck with that.
Oh man!
If I'm not offended, nobody gets to be offended on my behalf.
Yeah. Well, that's not how the world works anymore.
Not really, no.
Nick Gibson with the rock star here said Katrina would do a great job.
She would. Do you run shows, Katrina? Is that what?
No. Okay. We were joking earlier that the show that kicked you out, that they're gonna sell it to me. As long as I didn't let you back in, I just said, well, you just need to go to your initials, and I won't know the difference.
Well, yeah. I think they're pretty adamant about not having me around. I mean, kicking me out last year was one thing because it was, hot on the table. You know what I mean? They had to make a split decision. And then all through the year, they said, don't worry. Things will cool down. We'll get you back next year. We'll work it all out. And then as soon as tables go on sale and I, ask about applying for a table, they're like, no, we're not going to have you again this year. And I said, you guys told me all year long not to worry about it, not to sweat it. And I've done everything I could to, appease you and make amends for the situation. Even wrote them an apology letter. You know what they said? They said that they didn't believe my apology was sincere enough. Wow. So you can't even say sorry to these folks. I mean, how do you gain forgiveness? So I guess I learned just not to say sorry anymore. Like, fuck it, like. I mean, you're damned. Bart Simpson's going to tell us. You know what I mean? Bart, what do you think, man?
You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't.
There you go. That's right. Bart's the man. He knows what's going on. So Kitchener Comic-Con then reaches out to me, and they're like, hey, we'd love to have you at our show. We promote Canadian talent. And so I didn't hear anything about them in the news other than they were under fire, and I didn't really know why. And of course, a controversial con is going to want a controversial guest, And so I go to their website, and the first thing I see, guest of honor, fucking Vic Mignonia. Yeah. And then who's right beside him? Fucking Nick Rekieta.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, you.
Now, they're there this year, right? So that con actually takes place like next week. And obviously that's too short of a notice for me to go there in a week's time. Because I would love to be at a con, on the same level of guest as Vic and Nick Rekieta. God, that'd be fun. I'd be like, Nick, let's do a stream together, brother. You know what I mean? Like,
says people hate
Rekieta is hilarious.
Nick says people hate Vic because he won't toe the PC line.
Well, that's just it, right? And there's, look, the guy's never been charged with anything, and it's all hearsay that happens to come out.
Well, I guess he didn't get charged. He got.
No, he was suing them, wasn't he?
Yeah, Vic took them to fucking court for defamation of character.
I knew that there was a court case, but it took me a second to remember.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. This is what happens when you shit on people with no evidence. You go to court for it. Like.
Nick says they didn't believe the apology because they didn't want to. Gotta have that synergy.
Well, you got to toe the line. You got to bend the knee. You got to think like they do. And this is like a harsh reality of today's political climate. And, you know, I used to refrain from talking about it, but now it's affected me so much. I'm so pissed off that I don't care anymore. Yeah, you have to be just like them. There was a guy on my Facebook I blocked yesterday, and I didn't even interact with him. But he fucking said this on his Facebook page. He said, if you have a problem with social justice warriorism, I'm going to check you. You better believe it. Right? So in other words, if you don't think the way I do, I'm going to look for shit against you and use it to hurt you. You know, that's what that statement meant. And I'm just like, okay, I don't even want this to be on this guy's fucking radar. Gone, blocked, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now,
So,
now
in other words,
definitely
you
on
can
the
only
radar.
be on my
Blocked
friends
him.
list. You can only communicate with me if you share the exact same ideas I do. Otherwise, you're a wrong thinker. You're an undesirable, and you know, whatever ism and phobe that they probably want to you know, brand on you.
I personally like when people don't agree with me, because it causes me to step outside of my box and think, try to see it from their point of view, and then I end up getting pissed because then I have all these different opinions in my head, and I don't know which one that I truly believe anymore. So I'm like, forget it. People are stupid. Hope aliens come and kill us all. You know, really too, I need to stop making those threats, because Lola will tell you, I've said a couple things. I said I cannot wait until an illness arises, some type of plague or illness that wipes our miserable species off the earth, and then we got coronavirus. And then I've said maybe one day aliens will arrive and subjugate us and kill us, and then now we start getting rid of some space.
Well, I'm still waiting for my alien probe, so anytime now. Like,
yeah, I'm trying not to get probed by aliens.
well, you know, at least
I'm
that
just
means I know
gonna say
that
hi,
they're.
Josh.
At least I know that they be real. You know what I mean? And then be like, oh shit, there is more to life out there. You know.
Mm-hmm. Nick says when people argue in good faith, actual progress happens. Yeah,
Sure.
I mean,
Listen. I got like guys, friends I know for over 30 years, right? You know, 4 or 5 of us that get together every now and again, old school, high school friends. And you think that we get along on topics, man, like all the time, and that we don't sit there fucking fight and bicker and debate for hours on end. And I mean about the stupidest shit too, right? So, I mean, come on, man. Yeah, I mean, I would hate to be in a world where everyone just thinks alike. It almost sounds like that movie Idiocracy, you know, which I don't think is a movie anymore, but actually a documentary on our future.
Katrina and I don't agree with everything. Me and Lola don't agree. And I know, Larry, I know we got some difference of opinions.
Me and you don't agree on a lot of stuff.
That's true, but I mean, listen, the problem is this. I'm right, you're wrong. So,
see, boom.
yeah, I mean,
That's pretty much how it
listen
goes.
to the man.
yeah,
The man's world.
Yeah,
yeah. It's like,
I get blamed for everything.
you know, I was telling her the other day, you know, like people tell you, you know, like, she says you're not considering my feelings, and I tell her, I ask her, do you think that the boot thinks about or considers the feelings of the ant before it squashes it? You know, do you really think? I'm just joking. I don't think of Lola as an ant. I don't think of her as an
Marian
ant.
almost kind of Canadian there for a second. He said a boot.
A boot, yeah. A boot and a.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, I'm watching a painter on Amazon Prime, and I can tell he's Canadian because he says, "So before I begin," I'm like, and I'm like begin and again, and he hasn't said a boot yet. I'm waiting. I'm trying to figure out like sentence structures. Like he's gonna have to say about right here, but he won't. He just says, you know, like, so I'm gonna put this hand in this general area. I'm like, oh, you could have said about this area, but you decided you were gonna, you know, you knew what I wanted to hear. Come on, say it. I would like to hear somebody from Wisconsin too. I like those people. They have very funny voices, don't you know?
Don't ya?
Yeah. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot
like me?
Don't you?
How's this for line, Barry? That's my comment. Too hot for conventions.
Speak. I'm sorry. Say again, Lola.
Larry never introduced himself. We know nothing about him.
I'm Larry. I am a 6-year noob of the comic book industry, arrogant and cocky young man, a great big Star Wars fan, not at all a trusted member of the media. I am not a father, but I am a son. Not a publisher, but I am a writer, a reluctant taxpayer, a viewer of Indie Vault, and not at all in that order.
And he would do me and go to my conventions. So.
That's right.
Whoa!
Yeah, and now you're on GeekGasm too. So,
Well, I do like a good GeekGasm. Not gonna lie there.
I got a message that the women aren't talking on a female show.
I know we just kind of dominated the conversation, but hey, you guys sent me the link.
Yeah, we're men though. We're men. That's kind of what happens. Patriarchy up in this bad boy. Step aside, ladies.
But yeah, I threw the link from my book down in your chat there, Big V. So if your viewers want to check it out on the YouTube chat, go ahead and do that. I suppose I should throw it down in the book of face there too.
Yeah, go ahead.
3 days left, brother. My campaign is a wrap. That's all there is.
3 more days.
3 more days. Yep.
I got a question for you. I got a question for you, Katrina. Well, Katrina, but it'll go back to Larry's thing too. Has a because this is actually it was from Indie Vote Radio. Has a cosplayer, be it someone sitting at a booth or someone walking around the convention as an attendee, or a professional cosplayer, a cosplayer in general, female cosplayer in general, ever made you feel sexually uncomfortable? Like you were showing too much skin? You're like, wow, that's a bit much.
Yeah, I fell out with a cosplayer. We used to be friends because she has the need to sexualize everything. She'll take the most innocent of kids shows and turn it into a sexy cosplay, and I was just like, it's a bit much. And she stopped talking.
Give us an example.
I mean, even like, I'm trying to think of one. The only one that's popping to mind is she did like a My Little Pony, and it was, everything was super short. Her boobs were hanging out. Like there was almost nothing to the costume.
Hey, what's with boobs hanging out? My boobs are always hanging out.
Mine are never hanging out. So we're,
See, that's me twerking on Batman.
Whoa!
It's not so much that I have a problem with the boobs hanging out, as so much as the boobs hanging out within that particular character.
Okay.
I mean, she could have put even a tight shirt on, and I probably would have been more okay with it. But it was more like, look at my body constantly versus, I guess, playing homage to the actual show or character.
I can understand.
And we're talking about My Little Pony here, right?
Well, that's the only one that pops into mind. She took other like little kid shows and did the same thing with it.
Yeah. I can see where people might scratch their head on. I mean, I've definitely been to cons where some of the girls look like maybe they were, a little going a little overboard with the sex appeal. But for some girls, how they make their money. This is how they do their business. This is how they try and become Instagram stars or e-celebs or whatever it is. Some are determined to build a brand based on sexuality. Some are determined to build a brand based on the crafting and the art that is cosplay. I've seen it from all spectrums. I mean, for example, with Niobe, we have a very sexy character that we don't, hide. We've had cosplays do a couple sexy characters, but I always check, when I was allowed at cons with the conventions on what we were allowed to do and not allowed to do, so that we don't, rattle anyone's cages. You know what I mean? So, with our own sort of independent photo shoots, we could do whatever we wanted. But when it came to shows, we made sure that the skirts weren't too short, or that they were covered up enough, and so that but yet still have them look kind of hot without any sort of big problem. And I think that's a good idea, to have some sort of dress code. I don't know, like some shows do, maybe some shows don't. And I don't know how well those dress codes are set in force, because when you do go to a Comic-Con, it's not an 18 plus party here. You know what I mean? Like there are kids and stuff. It's families. It's especially nowadays where just everything is so mainstream that really does become a family event. Say 25 years ago, you might have gone to a show like that and you would have seen, a bunch of nerds over 30 still living in mom's basement. Not quite the same anymore.
And for better or worse, Lola, you ever seen anybody whose costume made you uncomfortable?
Not really uncomfortable. The only thing that I have a problem with is pretty much when it comes to the anime characters. You got these young teenage girls dressing up as anime characters with little short skirts, and it's like the motherly instinct kicks in. It's like, cover it up. There's so many people that can prey on you, and you're flaunting everything, and you're still a baby.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and
I would
that's the other
hope.
thing. The age of some of these cosplayers, some of them are underneath the age of 18, and still, kind of doing a very sexual cosplay. And this is where,
It's a good question for us.
where some of the trouble comes in law. There was a local convention here, not the one that I got banned from, but another one that kind of follows suit when the major one made its choice. Everyone kind of falls in line. But I'm friends with a couple of the organizers. I still got friends around here. I still got my spies in places, right? And the spies were telling me that the last con, I won't name them, but they received 18 allegations of sexual harassment or misconduct. And I don't mean like by people walking the floor. I mean against the fucking staff. Only 3 of them were exempt from said complaints. And when they went over the list of complaints, it just sounded so stupid to me that, one guy was looking at me in a creepy way, and so that was constituted, considered to be a worthy of a sexual harassment complaint. And most of these complaints weren't exactly like filed. They were just stuff that was kind of said after the con on social media board or on the community page or whatever, right? So, but they counted them up and it was 18 people, making these, just really stupid claims. And I was going to organize another con because I started that con. Imagine getting banned from a con that you helped start. You know what I mean? Fucking unbelievable.
It's happened. I got banned from a free comic book day.
There was 2 people that started the first one, and I was 50% of it. And so, like I said, I know people that are still there, and they feed me the information. But I said, this is what we do, right? I said, if I'm ever to come back and I'm in charge, the way we work sexual harassment and allegations is this. If you come to our con, it's going to be right on our site. If you run into an issue, regardless of what it is, you will come to a staff. We'll have a desk where you can fill out an official complaint. We want to know who, what, when, where, and why, and we'll address it on the spot. And if it's serious enough, we'll get the law involved. But if you fail to fill out said form, don't bother going on social media and sounding off, because we won't take you seriously at that point. Okay. If you want to be taken seriously and you want to be, looked after properly, you got to go through the proper form. But they don't do that. They rather make up lies or slander or, exaggerate something that may have happened that was very small or minor and turn it into something major. And the thought of filling out a form means, oh my God, this is getting official now, and this could have legal ramifications. Yeah, you're right. That's why we do it.
I seen you got a question.
Can't hear you.
Sorry, we got a question in from they asked me anything. And this actually goes, I don't know if I know Rob may still be out there in the chat, and anybody else we got listening who's a comic book creator. See Sim is out there. Pony Princess, hello, thanks for watching. But the question is, do you feel when you're creating female characters any special? Do you ever consider the fact that people make cosplay as that characters? Does that weigh in on your costume design or your how you create these characters? For me, it never has since I've been an adult. When I was a younger guy, and we're talking like 15, 16. Yeah, it was heavily on my mind that, hey, maybe someone will dress up as his character. So I'm going to put as much skin as I possibly can in here. And, but I mean, obviously, as you mature, your artistic taste mature and you change things around. So I did make those changes, and I did, and I don't think they were even conscious. They just, what I once found, attractive and sexy when I was 15 was no longer what I thought, as a 22, 23-year-old man, and older. Now, what I found sexy is just, mental stability and, is she breathing? I no longer
Lola,
care.
are you breathing? Are you okay?
I check some days.
You check? Okay.
Yeah,
Listen, you know what I find sexy is Pony Princess in your YouTube chat.
yeah, I see them. It says finally it works. Hi.
Pony Princess is my hot Korean girlfriend.
Is she? Is she?
I'm not even kidding.
Is she? The Niobe cosplayer.
She is.
Oh, we should have sent her a
Hello.
link.
You
We
want
should-
you want me to send her a link?
Send her a link.
Yeah, have her come in.
All right. Now I don't know if she's ever used StreamYards before, but if Vicky, if you're listening, basically I'll give you a link. You're gonna click on it. You're gonna fill out your name. Make sure that you unmute the mic or the cam, and then you basically just click enter the show, and it should work for you. You shouldn't need any sort of software at all. But I'm not sure how it works on a phone. I only know how it works on a computer.
It should work the same. It
should work the
yeah.
same.
Pretty much the same, yeah. Advocates of man, you understand the culture I come from and how they dress.
I do.
Yes, 100%.
I've seen the movies.
Now I'll
I've
tell
seen
you
the skin
something
type,
about
brother.
Vicky though. Vicky is sexy, and she's probably going to bring the most sexual looking Niobe that we've ever had.
Larry, I hate to do this to you, but I think we need to break up.
What? What? Why? Well, what?
Well, you invited your girlfriend on the chat.
Oh, yeah, but
You
we
know.
just got started. I mean, come on. This is what happens. They love me and leave me. It's like the story of my life, man.
Yeah, apparently it's comic book
I
guy.
can't do nothing right, Varian.
Apparently it's
How do I
comic
get the
book.
link? That must be in my Facebook, right? I can just copy that link and
Yep.
send it over.
Yep.
All right.
Apparently us comic book guys are good for that, by the way. Yeah.
Well,
They have
we're good in the
multiples.
short term, but apparently we're not long term material.
No. We're like, right until we make that transaction. You got my book? I'm done with you.
Right?
I made mine long term.
Yeah.
This she says AMGSTAHP. I have no idea. She always talks to me like these fucking internet
Oh my God,
abbreviations.
stop.
Oh my God, stop.
Is that what it means? Like, I have
Yes.
no idea what these.
Yeah.
Every time she sends me something weird like that, I'm like, man, you gotta translate the internet speak for me, Like, I'm old, right? Like, I'm an '80s kid, so
Yeah, because you probably were walking in the 80s.
Well, dude, I was born in '74, so
Ooh,
I saw Empire Strikes Back in the theater. That's how old
Yeah,
I
and
am.
like I told you, I didn't see any of those Star Wars movies and things.
He's
My
even
mom
older
was
than
born
me.
in '74.
What did you say?
My mom was born in '74.
Oh, dear Lord.
Who's your daddy?
Okay.
There she is.
Oh God, I'm in. Hi guys.
Hi.
I'm like
Hi.
doing dishes right now. Katrina, you seem really nice, but why do you say we should break up? I heard in the chat.
Oh, because I mistyped and I said, like, Katrina was talking about, like, jokingly doing a show, and I said I would go Katrina, but what I wrote was I would do Katrina, and now we made fun of it.
Yeah. Yeah, he typed he would do Katrina, which is gonna give him his own Vic Mignola situation going on.
You gotta watch out for Vicky. She gets jealous, man.
Yeah. I felt the.
But I kind of like it, I like it when they got my back. Like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna still I'm gonna steal Vicky from you. I don't know.
Listen, I had Vicky on my stream there last night. She was a hit, man. Like, I think
Yeah.
no one gave a crap about me. Like, they were all there for Vicky. You know?
Yeah, I just used you to get Vicky on here real quick. That's all.
Remember like this one troll, right?
Mhm.
And Larry blocks him, but then like I later saw the video like after it was not live anymore, and the comments were just disgusting. He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
pretending to donate so he'd be tolerated.
Oh,
And his donations were fake. We didn't even get anything. So you know.
see,
Yeah.
I've been worried about that with Lola's tip jar, because sometimes people can put like those false, or they try to put bits in instead of dollars, so you get worried.
Bits for dollars. Folks.
Yeah.
Bits for dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I personally have ever had a problem. Vicky, I've seen the Niobe cosplay. Are you comfortable wearing that cosplay to shows? Will you be comfortable wearing that cosplay to show?
No, I'm wearing a Hello Kitty shirt. I don't know if you can see the Hello Kitty.
No, he means like when we actually get to go to a convention, will you be doing the
Oh
Niobe
yeah, I will.
costume?
It's just I want to use a better makeup because the makeup I bought from Party City, like it smelled like mushrooms, and after I wiped it off, like it started to sting afterwards. So I don't know. That's some cheap
Smell like
costume.
mushrooms.
Well,
Yeah, it
mushroom.
smelled really bad, like rotten mushrooms, like really
Ew.
strong mushrooms.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
You heard it here first. Party City makeup
Smells like rotten
smells like
mushrooms.
mushrooms. We'll never get them as a sponsor.
Vicky, this is a show really for the girls. I know me and Varian have just come in and dominated, but this is actually Lola's show, and it's supposed to be about girls talking about geek stuff. So you actually kind of fit right in. And we've been talking about like sexy cosplay and like cosplayers like going over the top with sexuality in their cosplay and maybe taking the road a bit too far. Well, what's your thoughts on all that?
Just do what you're comfortable with. Honestly, women are individuals just like men. And yeah, women and men are different in a lot of ways, but in the end, we could all be just the same and we could all just be individuals. So just do what you're comfortable with, honestly. That's what I say.
Unless you're a man willing to wear assless chaps at the convention, I will put you. For some, listen. I'm not sexist, but I'd rather a woman wear assless chaps at a convention than a guy. I can't handle that. Cause I've seen it.
Yeah.
Do you remember Man-Faye?
Say again.
Man-Faye, that fat guy who dressed up as Faye, and then he kept getting
Oh
banned.
yeah, yeah.
His whole ass cheek and balls would show.
Yeah, I mean, it gets pretty bad. Katrina, do you think that have you ever seen some men in too sexy a cosplay?
No.
And better yet, is it a problem when you do?
Oh, Jesus, getting called.
Right? So like let's say Jason Momoa is at this fucking con and he's shirtless and he's walking the con floor and all the girls are like,
What kind is that?
right? You see? So there's the double standard, right? So there's the
Right.
double standard. And this is what we're getting at, right?
Now they're gonna be freaked out because of his Super Bowl commercial.
Damn.
I just saw that today and I was creeped out. I'm not gonna lie.
he's pretty sexy, that Jason Momoa, and I'm a guy.
Let's use him as an example. He's
Not
walking
in
around the
the
cosplay
commercial.
floor. He's Aquaman. He's got the muscles. He's got no shirt, and every girl is, swooning over him. Right? Does that then not become a problem, or is that okay?
Okay,
Where,
I'm
let's say,
gonna go with my gut reaction first. My gut reaction is good because it clears the con floor so I can get places. Because I hate crowded con floors.
Yeah.
That's my gut reaction. Because I'm not one who tends to, what's the word? Fangirl over people.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Nick, we've had discussions about what you can say in public, and this is one of the other things I've told you about. I'm just kidding. I'm screen capping this, Nick. Everyone out there should know Nick Gibson says Jason Momoa makes him wet.
whoa.
Yeah. I didn't know you were at the, parts for that, but now that I know.
now wait a second. You don't have to have those parts to get wet.
Are you suggesting that Jason Momoa makes Nick's asshole wet?
Holy cow.
I didn't mean those parts either.
And boy, this show just took a deep dive.
So yet you still showed it. You're right, Nick. You know, I had to mess with you because Scott Roseman told me to. So
But you get what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah,
So sometimes there's that double standard that happens. Now, you know, here was a study that was done. This was kind of very interesting about like creepy guys. You know what I mean? And so they were talking to, you know, they interviewed a bunch of girls, and they said, "What do you consider creepy?" You know, like, you know, when it concerns like guys hitting on them, right, or making a pass at them, or you know, like giving them a line. And basically, the consensus was if the guy was ugly, the girls would consider it creepy, and if the guy was cute, they would consider it flattering.
Not this. Come on.
No, I don't agree with that.
well, I have something for you guys because I know we talk about anime a lot on the show. And Vicky, do you watch anime?
I do watch anime, yeah.
So the Advocating channel says anime is a recruiting ground for BDSM gear worn in public.
What?
That depends on the
that's
anime.
Hellraiser.
I mean, you know, Rob here could be watching some hentai here. You know, Rob might have that going on. You know what I mean?
Rob, are you watching hentai?
Rob, what's going on, Rob?
Are you watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
What?
He's watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Yo,
Like, just give me the list so I can write them down.
It's a
Just need to check
different
them out.
intervention.
Are you, Katrina? Do you believe that? Do you think that anime is a recruiting ground for the BDSM gear worn in public?
I don't watch enough anime
Mm-hmm.
to have an opinion, I guess.
Well, but then anime is like just an art style, but it expands into many, many genres. Like, yeah, you can have the tentacle rape porn of little girls, sure.
Whoa.
But you can also have something like Metropolis, Perfect Blue, you know?
Yeah.
Really brilliant movies. And then, anything by Osamu Tezuka, and then there's Akira, and then, of course, also Fruits Basket, and Clamp, and Naruto, and Yu Yu Hakusho, you know, all sorts of genres.
This is why I love her. She knows her shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna steal her.
Anime is just the art style.
She's already stolen. You just don't know it yet. Rob says, "I like watching people, not cartoons. I grew up when cartoons are for superheroes."
Okay.
He didn't say cartoons. He said cat runes.
Oh yeah, Cataroons. Yeah, what is a Cataroon? Yeah, I'm gonna. Sounds like me when I like bite my cereal or bite my tongue while eating cereal. Cataroons.
I just had Rob on the
I
other
think
day.
he's saying he
what
likes
kind of
the
fire did
American
he
comic
start?
style rather than the anime style.
Right. Say that again, Vic.
I don't know. Is that what he means by superheroes? Cartoons are for superheroes, like the American style or something?
You know what? Keep looking like that. It's almost as if like I'm sick and I'm waking up. She's the first nurse I see.
It's because of the light.
Yeah. It's like, is this heaven?
You should see her when she's like all dolled up, man. It's absolutely. She looks like a K-pop.
Yeah, no.
That's true, man. You do. You look like a K-pop star when you like you know when you're all ready to go out somewhere. It's like God damn.
Yeah, if I get like the nose surgery and the jaw surgeries they get, I would look exactly like a K-pop star. They all look the same. They get the same three surgeries: the eyelid surgery, the nose surgery, and the jaw shading surgery. I'm not even kidding. They're intense.
No, it's true. That's a rough
They
world.
take it up to 11.
Right?
I'm going to get I joke about this, and I think I've sent Katrina this a couple times. Whenever I go in the store, I pick up lightning soap, and I put it in my basket.
And I
I
checked it out.
I take a picture of it, and I send it to like everybody. Katrina, Mel. I send it to a bunch of people. I'm like, look, I'm buying lightning soap, and it's make my skin lighter. And I've never used it, and because I've seen what that can do. It can make people look like they got the black smacked off of them. Like, you'll look like Two-Face if you don't put it on right. And too, like, I don't. Like, that stuff bothers me. Like, I'm gonna wash my skin until I wash all this black away. I could understand if
that literally is like washing. Like that, like you don't want to like black wash yourself there, Barry. I mean,
Yeah.
my God.
I could understand if and the soap is expensive too. I'm looking at the soap box. It's like, for this price, this shit should improve my credit score. But it doesn't. There's like no advantage. Like this. Which is the like? Man, could you stop? I want to stop. The next time I go in there, I'm gonna stop somebody, some store associate, and ask them which is the one that stops me from getting my ass kicked by police. Which brand should I buy? It's gonna be awesome.
I agree.
He decides to show his face.
Yeah, well, I figure everyone else is on camera.
He's got a haircut.
I got a haircut today because my work is like, you got an
Guys, I'm
appearance.
turning on the water, so don't direct questions at me yet. I can't hear you guys.
Okay.
So yeah, they're like, they want me to keep a nice, clean appearance because of the work that I do. So. I was getting pretty shaggy. Look, I was starting to look like Shaggy from Scooby Doo. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now that scroll behind you, I have one of those. I have that same scroll, the Chun Li scroll.
What, the Chung Li?
Yeah.
Dude, man, the Chung Li scroll is like super rare now. I
Yeah.
can't find one anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know how well you can see that. But,
Yeah. I have one. It used to hang on the back of my door for years.
Game store. I bought it like 4 or 5 years ago, and it's never left that spot since. And I've never seen one in this city ever since either. I mean, I'm sure I can go online and order one, but locally I can't find one or anything else like it.
Yeah, I like that scroll, but I'm always upset that she looks beat up in that one. I'm like, she looks hot, but she looks beat up.
It looks like she, maybe come out of a rough fight, maybe battling Vega or something,
Yeah. Katrina.
Yeah.
As an editor of comics.
Oh, you edit comics? Interesting.
Yeah, she's an editor. Do you feel? This is a question from Indie Vote. Doesn't ask me anything, so. What has a writer ever told you to get bent? Basically, they didn't like your edits. Like, I'm not changing that. No, to say in the story, get bent.
No, they know better. I mean, I've had conversations back and forth. A couple. Like if you can tell me why you're doing it this way, and it makes sense to me, then I'll clear it. But I don't think I've ever had anybody just flat out tell me no. And I like.
Well, allow me to be the first. No.
You still have to pay me though.
Always gotta pay the piper.
That's the way it works.
Always.
This is the way.
The only time that I can think of that even came close was that time that I then got fired.
Oh, I remember that.
Very
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the time I'm talking about.
Yeah, Cat got fired.
Well, let me ask you this, Katrina. Is it Kat or Katrina?
Either one.
Either one. Okay, I'll call you Kat. How did you get into comics? Like, do you just edit comics? Like, what's your role in comics? Because I know nothing about you, right? So pretend that I'm just tuning into the show for the first time and I'm learning about Katrina here. Give me the.
Don't forget to add professional table loiter. Go ahead.
That's right.
Big time.
It is true. It is true. But look, I work while I'm there.
She does.
I loiter and sell things.
Yes.
You loiter and sell things. Okay.
Yeah, I get
It's like
bored
you're
sometimes.
like Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones. I drink and I know things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sometimes get bored walking around conventions, especially if they're small. So I usually end up finding my way to their table and sitting there and selling things for them. You guys go wander. I'll sell things for a while. It's okay.
You're the perfect person I need because I cannot stay at my table. Legit, man. Like, someone needs to freaking chain me there because I'm like, oh, I got to go talk to that artist. And, oh, fuck, that looks cool. And when I'm supposed to be sitting there selling comic books, right? And so I remember the last con, like, I was in Calgary and, like, people kept saying every time I come by to Larry's table, Larry's never there. He's like the only guy that ain't at his own table, like Larry's too busy talking to Todd McFarlane, like, gosh. Like,
So, Katrina, how did you get in?
Table.
I got into comics kind of accidentally. That was close to Canadian about there. Probably trying to think now. 8 years ago or so, 9 years ago. I went to a convention here in Michigan with some friends for my birthday. And I didn't have comics as a kid. So I got kind of, other than one box of really old comics of one of my uncles, it was mostly war comics, so nothing that interested me as a child. But I got kind of reintroduced to comics then, and I was already a book reviewer, and wondered if there would be at the time a place for comic reviews. So I started reaching out to people, and happened to go to C2E2 one year, and picked up a
you're
book.
from Chicago?
No, I'm from Michigan.
We need to go to Michigan someday.
Yeah.
And just kind of, I picked up a book by a guy and did a review on it, and he said, "Yeah, I really liked your comments. You don't happen to edit comics, do you?" And I said, "Well, not up until now. What do you need?" And starting editing comics, and then I also do novels now. Novels are kind of my babies.
You know, I never had an editor, like, you know, as in like change this, change that. The closest thing I ever had to an editor was just someone to kind of proofread the work to make sure that the I's were dotted right and the T's were crossed, and the commas were in the right spot.
When it comes to comics, I actually prefer just proofreading. I will do a full like developmental edit with somebody, like start from the beginning and go through it. But I prefer proofreading.
Now, how long have you been doing this now? Ever since that day?
I have been doing novels now for probably close to a year and a half, and comics for probably about 5 years.
Okay, and have you like edited anyone's comics that we might know here in the community?
Probably not for comics, unless you're. Are you familiar with Russell Nolte?
I've heard the name.
I do all the proofreading on his novels.
Okay.
Yeah, and you're like added to them those now, like as a co-author, right? Some of them.
On the novels?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I know your name is up there.
My name is definitely in the books though.
Yeah. And it's also the books. Some of the books they call was it Katrina Hates the Universe, and it's not based on her. The name was already there.
Yeah,
but that's kind of cool.
Nick Gibson. I do work with Nick.
Okay.
In chat. Yeah, Katrina Hates the Dead. Katrina Hates the Universe.
She does my comics. Nick Gibson.
Yep. we're gonna have Vicky read all the comments from now on.
Okay.
Vicky, now I have a question for you, Vicky. Since you've been and Lola, I know you may have some questions too, but I'm taking over your show.
Go ahead.
They have a now that you're the new Niobe.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
Yeah, the new Niobe. Now,
you want to see what she looks like as Niobe, folks? I can pop it up on the screen.
Sure, pop it up. Let's see.
You guys talk while I dig out a picture.
It's a trial run. It'll look much better like once I get my hair dyed.
Yeah, well, you got to go purple, right?
I think one artist said it was pink. I don't know.
Are you gonna dye it or just wear a wig?
All kinds of different color hair. She's a girl. She changes her style all the time. As long as you have like the face paint and we can tell it's Niobe, it doesn't really matter, you know.
Okay,
That's
yeah, because like
it's such a simple cosplay to do, right?
Yeah, there was like these clip-ons I got from Party City, but they had like some white thread on top, so it was like you clip it on your head, but you can see like the white threads, and they didn't even bother to put purple thread on it, so I couldn't use it.
All right.
Do you think? Because I've heard of this. I've heard of people having cosplayers at shows, and then the next year they go get a new cosplayer. And the and the old cosplayer gets mad. I see Katrina shaking her head. Not in her head, yes. The old cosplayer gets mad at the new cosplayer. Like cosplay. Ooh.
Nice.
Now,
Yeah.
this is just us like screwing around one night, and like she come home from work. I said, put on that sexy little jacket you got, throw on some Niobe makeup, and let's see what it looks like. But wait till like we really go full throttle, man. Like it's gonna be great. I think this is great as it is, but
It is. I like that. That's she looks like the character.
she looks happy, smiling, having fun. You know.
Yeah, you know they don't smile anymore. They're supposed to smile.
Yeah, it's,
Honestly,
it's sexy, but there's no boobs hanging out or anything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Lola, no boobs hanging out.
Leave my boobs alone.
Yeah.
Honestly, with the whole new Niobe cosplayer, if there ever was a new Niobe cosplayer and if they did it well, mad props to that girl.
Yeah.
I mean, at least I had my time to shine, right?
Right. That's where you should. That's where you should feel about it. And plus, there's gonna be guys like trying to steal you from, Larry. Like she's gonna
As if
cosplay
they'll
my
be
character.
worthy to steal me. It's probably just going to be some rando guys looking for hookups.
That's how it happens. Welcome to comics.
Welcome to the whole fuking world. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I hate those guys so much.
Yeah.
That's why.
Oh, you'll fit right in. It's be great.
I'll show you another one here. Let's see.
Mhm.
Hey, Dave.
I'll bring it up here. Oh yeah,
Hi.
you put a couple of power blasts on her head to hide the phone. Power blast. Take out the background. Yeah.
That would be cool. But Niobe uses a phone, right?
She likes to take selfies, and
Yeah.
like she can
Like
teleport
most girls,
anywhere
yeah.
she
Because
wants. Or
I
she
read
can, like,
the first issue, and she was on her phone like constantly,
Yeah.
like me.
You got to get her a motorcycle, man.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Man.
You
That
gotta get a
motorcycle
Right
seems to
one.
be your hit. Like that's our honor to Akira, if you will, by having that red motorcycle in that book. Oh, speaking of which, Variant, here, let me get this off the screen. Not that I don't want to look at Vicky, because I could do that all day. But look at this, man. This here is the proof copy of the book that I just got today, brother.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, so like we actually, I went to a local printer with the file. I'm getting my books done through Comic Wellspring, but since I had the file and I know these guys can make my comics, because I made comics to them before, I just went there and said, hey, you know what? Just see what you can do with this file. See if this is even printable. Let's just make sure this works, right? So it came out really, really nice. There'll probably be a little bit different paper quality.
She's beautiful.
She is beautiful, right? This is done by Paul Green, by the way, who's worked
Her
for
boobs are hanging out.
Comics. Well, in this one, yeah, that's Paul's style. Though Paul's got like a very J. Scott Campbell sort of vibe, you know. And this was colored by Ula Moss. So before any woman says, "Oh, this is just guys sexualizing women," a woman colored this cover. Okay,
I can't really
I didn't
hear.
realize that
There's
Ula
like
was
a.
coloring.
Okay, now I can hear.
What did you say, Katrina?
No, I just said I didn't realize that Ula was coloring still.
Oh yeah. I mean, she does a lot of her own artwork now. Like she's got,
Yeah, because I know Ula's colorist.
Yeah. So she colored that cover for me. And of course, we did that last year. This is just what it kind of looks like in the inside of the book. The letters are done by Joe Rodriguez. The interior art's done by Samir Sameo. And the colors inside the book are done by a guy named Dan O'Vera, who's worked for Grimm Fairy Tales and Action Lab Comics, like on books like like Zombie Tramp and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it's another look on the inside. I don't want to show too much of it because
Then you'll show it all and then hit me for damn copyright strike. Like he showed his own book. This
right? I want to give a shout out to Edwin Boyette, by the way, who's been absolutely phenomenal. With,
Simon Sympothier says, "What's wrong with boobs? Nothing's wrong with boobs. They were made by God to feed babies. I mean, honestly, if anybody's
and now they don't want to share
wrong with boobs, then that's just on them.
Honestly. Listen. When a kid outgrows the boob, though, there are people who will take those boobs and make good use of them. There's no need for just to throw the boob away when the baby's grown. There's no need. I see no reason at it. See no reason.
Look, bottom line here is that there is something for everyone, and some people like a nice pinup image on their comic books. I mean, when I was growing up, I loved Heavy Metal magazine. I loved fantasy pinup art. I loved things like Vampirilla and Lady Death and Witchblade.
I have 1977 to 2011 on my phone. Heavy Metal.
Right?
The anthologies,
And to be honest, when I was doing cons, more women bought the book than men. And I got all the picture proof because anytime someone would buy the book, I would ask if I can get their picture with them. You know what I mean? Or take their picture with the book.
I honestly think there's like way more girls in nerddom than guys. Like, I suspect it. I don't know. Because most guys are like, oh, nerd stuff is for sissies and stuff. So they're pressured not to be nerdy. But like, girls don't have that. And girls like outperform men in college graduation even, So I think there are more nerd girls than nerd guys.
It definitely seems to be that way now, right? I think that's due to the movies and Netflix. Kind of like the
There's
Netflix
also a lot of
generation.
fakes.
But
You
There's
just
still
see
lots of
what
nerdy guys
happens.
out there. Trust me on that.
Did you? By the way, in a very creepy fashion, Vicky had to send you a friend request on Facebook. You can answer
Oh
that.
yeah, I saw.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
like
when you
swipe
get a
that.
chance. Yeah.
I'll take care of that later. It's just
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm like at 14% battery, and I don't have time to like open stuff.
Oh
and-
yeah,
She doesn't have time for Marian.
we got more pictures. We got more pictures. There we go. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's kind
Yay,
of,
that's me.
This one's kind of out of focus a little bit because we're. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get some real good ones soon.
Yeah. She's taking these herself, or she has someone.
Yeah, I took. Well, actually, no. Robert filmed that. Robert's like one of my roommates.
Okay.
Oh God. Sorry, I'm trying to plug my phone in.
They look real good. Now you're gonna do pinups. Are you gonna release those pinups as perks for the next campaign later?
I think I
believe
could do
it.
a lot better than that, honestly.
Oh yeah, we are, but it's still good. But yeah, we're gonna do like
But
a
I mean,
photo
if you guys
set
want to
that
use it,
people
then
can.
use it.
Yeah, we're gonna
I
do
mean,
like
more
a photo
fame for me
set
is
that
good,
people can buy. Maybe a collection like 5 or 6 photos they can get of Vicky. But another thing that I kind of want to do with Vicky here is do like a Niobe calendar. So we'll have 12 different cosplay photos for each of the month, and we'll have that available, for next round.
Mm-hmm. Final question, ladies, from Indie Vault Radio is: do you think that of all of the horrible things going on in conventions right now, have you ever got the same type of treatment that you fear from men from a woman? And we'll start with you, Katrina, and we'll go to Vicky and then Lola. Has a woman ever?
Not at a convention.
Outside of a convention. No, we'll talk about that later. Vicky, have you ever been harassed by a woman at a convention?
Like sexually harassed, or like a woman just starting shit?
Sexually, we'll say.
Oh, well, I don't really attract lesbians, so I've never had that problem.
Until you were on this show.
What? What?
And then now you're on this show. We'll see what happens. Well, we get emails in there sometimes. I remember I used to, when I had a bunch of booth girls, we take pictures of them and we do prints, and we give the prints away for free. I think we started selling them, and then we started getting them for free. Anyway, though, we start getting emails with gentlemen, because each girl had her own email, giving the print their own personal touch, basically, like on video. So they were holding the phone with one hand, and they were, basically, on the picture, like, oh, she's so great. I want to meet I got to meet the real girl again. And you talk about freaking a girl out. Like, oh, I can't wait to see you.
It depends on the girl. I mean, some people are genuinely honored by fan attention, and other people are just like, oh, I can't stand my fans. I don't give a shit. They're lame, blah blah blah. But I'm not like that.
Yeah.
Well, some girls make their money with that, though, right? Like some girls who know that they're selling on sex. Let's use this example of Belle Delphine. You guys know who Belle Delphine is?
Personality and the character you're portraying. I mean,
Belle-
cosplay is similar to acting. And when you're acting, you're selling the character, not just the body or face.
Yeah, but some girls don't, though. Some girls just sell the body and the face. So Belle Delphine was this
Well,
girl
that's on them.
who was extremely popular, and she was selling her own bath water for $50 a bottle.
I
Well,
remember
that's
her.
Belle Delphine. I mean,
Yeah,
she
but I'm
only
just-
got famous for the, that's her
Screenshot
character.
that. We're gonna sell that image.
Damn, we
Oh,
have a
God.
Shirts everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
that other picture there. That's kind of Vicky with a little bit of makeup on. This is why I say she looks like a K-pop star. You know what I mean?
yeah, I remember when that girl came out with that bathwater. Guys were cooking hot dogs in it. They were.
I saw the post on Instagram. One guy from Italy was like, I want to cook pasta in it. And I'm just like, ew.
Yeah, like, oh, your bathwater, baby. It's
So some girls know exactly what they're doing. You know what I mean? As far as using sex sells as a business model.
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say that. Keep my mouth shut. I was gonna say something, but then sometimes it's just better that I just keep my big fat trap
Dude,
shut.
I need to learn that lesson myself. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, this is awesome. So we got a cosplayer, which we very rarely get cosplayers on. So Vicky, please understand now that whenever someone sends us a question about a when someone we get a question about new cosplayers, we're going to always I'm gonna send you like a link out of nowhere. You and Larry like, hey, come in here. Someone's talking shit about cosplayers, and you got to come in and say something.
let's just say that Niobe is Vicky's first cosplay.
Is it?
Yeah.
So this is like her
it's just-
introduction into a whole new world now. You see
Well,
what
it's
I'm
just
saying?
because cosplay gets expensive, you know? So, like, I know, like, I have a couple cosplayer friends. They spend, Jesus Christ, like thousands of dollars on cosplay, and then they're always broke, and they're always begging their fans for money. Be like, hey, I need to pay rent, and hey, I need to sell this costume, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, you did all this stuff to please fans and look beautiful for fans and for all the likes and the gram and everything, but you're broke. You can't pay bills. So when I do cosplay, I'm just gonna do cosplay that means something to me or whatever I want to, you know.
You see, I how can I say this? How can I say? I'm on GeekGasm. I can say whatever I want to say. But there's. You said your first time
Spit it out,
cosplaying.
Barry, spit it out.
There is zero way that even if I knew you beforehand, like before this, growing up, you would have been given some type of Chun-Li outfit. And I would have been like, could you wear this in a totally creepy way? Like,
Are you
could you
You're
wear this?
giving me a
It
costume.
would have happened. It would have happened. And I'm telling you right now, thank God I never had an Asian girlfriend, because that poor woman, would have been like, hey,
I
here's
know how to do the bow bows, the
See?
hair, the buns. I know how to do the
Damn,
buns.
Barry, you just gave me an idea. Like,
God,
Larry's
by
come
the
with
gods,
Chun-Li
what have I
outfit.
walked into?
Larry's come with the Chun-Li outfit. And I would have got. Look,
oh,
I
don't
would
worry,
have.
I'm gonna make my list. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
I would have got real bad, like really like horrible. Okay, so here's the Chun-Li outfit. Now I'm gonna paint myself all green and wear a red wig. I'm gonna be Blanca, and we're gonna start fighting. Right? You gotta let me win, though. You gotta let me win. Yeah, it would have been horrible, man.
Chun-Li would kick Blanca's ass, man.
Okay, I mean, I'll give you that.
Chun-Li, my absolute favorite character to use in Street Fighter. I love wrecking people with Chun-Li.
Now, since you guys, Lola, have you been harassed, by the way?
Only by
Not
you,
women
Barry.
at cons. On the street, yeah.
I seen Lola do some harassing.
Have you?
They-
Yeah.
Base of
Days
this
of
one.
Supreme
Doesn't
find
call it,
something
but-
funny.
I didn't harass them, and they didn't, like, push me away.
Yeah. See, they didn't push me. It was
They
all
were
cool. The
willing
harassment was all mutual.
They were willing participants.
Well, let's define what harassment is. If like you're
That's what
walking
he
down the
said.
street and I say, hey, you're pretty cute. To some girls, that's going to be considered harassment. To some people, that's just like a way to try and introduce themselves to see if there's a connection there. And I think like how in the hell is a human race supposed to populate if we can't like flirt with each other without it being called harassment?
Well, I mean, some people might just find like being hit on by a random stranger creepy just because they're not looking for that in life and they're just trying to go about their day like buying pasta, and then all of a sudden some random person they don't know says, hey, you're cute, you want to go out on a date, I want to get to know you. And this person could be like a psycho, or you could be the psycho killer, and this person just judges you only based on external appearance, and they know
those
deep in
people
their
better
heart
never
that
go
if they
to
were
a
like
bar. Then like
hideous, then they wouldn't get that attention, because the random stranger isn't saying, hey, you're cute because of your bubbly personality, of your brilliant mind, and all the proletariat struggles that you went through, or your violin abilities. They just want the face or the ass or the tits or the whatever,
Well,
it's,
So, I
it's
think
usually
that's
the
I
ass.
think that's what like
It's usually.
off.
Well, I
But
mean,
then,
when you
not
go
all
and
people are the same.
yeah, but
honestly.
when you go to a shop and you're looking at books, what's the first thing that catches your eye? It's the cover, right? And so, you buy a book based on the cover, and then hopefully what's inside you enjoy. It's like meeting someone. Like, let's say, Vicky, that I met you in the mall, and I found you really attractive, and I had the balls to approach you and try and start a conversation. Well, it's the cover that got my eye, but after the conversation's going, it's the story that's inside that kind of matters. You know what I mean?
I'm not denying that the cover is the appealing factor. Yeah, but I mean, it's just your question was, why do some people find it creepy? It's not even just a girl thing; it's a guy thing, too. And it's just, that's what I was saying. Sometimes people just aren't looking for that. Some people are asexual. So
how are you supposed to know that, right? How am I supposed to know that you're not looking for that, right?
Me?
That's the thing. Well, no, not you in particular, but like women in general, like random strangers.
No,
you know
not
what I mean?
women in general. Some women. And maybe a guy gets unlucky and meets like a lot of those women. But honestly, like, it's not even about the guy. It's just the girls. They just act that way, and whatever they feel, they're entitled to feel it.
New breaking news: Larry cuts woman open to see what's inside. Breaking news right there at the bottom of the scrolling. There.
Rob Anderson says, I create my comics to get laid. Okay. And push my fetish agenda. Maybe creators are creating their comics to get women to dress sexy.
I sure am. No, that's a joke of Rob. Rob was labeled as someone who makes his book, because he makes a book about a girl who enters the BDSM community. And so there was some emails sent to us that said Rob Anderson is sending.
Isn't that enough?
Sending books to get laid and to push his fetish agenda. Simon says, "Wow." And then, how are they supposed to get to know you?
Well, they don't, right? In that situation, you don't. I mean, here's the mistake that some guys make, though. They go to a con thinking it is a bar, right? And so they'll see a bunch of girls dressed in sexy, and they think that's an open invite. Like, oh my gosh, she's so hot, and she's a nerd like me.
See, maybe I told you guys go through it too. Thank you, Simon.
And I think that is a problem, that where guys do go to cons and they're so desperate and lonely, they try and pick up cosplayers that are just completely out of their league. You know what I mean? Completely out of their league, and the girls want nothing to do with it, right? And then that would be one piece of advice I would give to men: is don't go to a convention treating it like it's a bar for a pickup. Like
Larry, oh my god, I want to hug you so bad. Stop! I want to hug you and kiss you so bad. Stop! I love you.
I know. I won't say no.
I do have. I did say this though. We're all strangers until I'm standing naked in your shower.
Whoa!
Or at your front door, like it's go time. I've seen you. I've got your little Snapchats. You've been hearting all my Facebook posts. I know what that means.
I was worried that Katrina was going to call me sexual harasser, saying I would do Katrina. Like, fuck, I was so fast trying to type. Like, no, I meant go. You know what I mean? Like, I thought I was going to get blasted, like, on the show. You know?
No, Katrina's pretty down to earth. She doesn't get mad. We can tease Katrina quite a bit, unless she's having a bad day. And she's not having a bad day. Simon says he got creepy women come to him at cons. The only creepy people who like it coming to me at cons are usually religious fanatics. Remember the one? Lola? The one that she was like, God is my Father in heaven, and you and your comic book. And
I don't remember that one.
I'm like motioning for security, like, but nobody came, man. She walked away finally.
Rob says, let's put women in charge of making the first move from
says
now
it's
on.
go time.
Yep.
Let's put women in charge of making the first move from now on. What first movie?
The first
No,
move.
the first move. Like, the first move is like,
no,
showing interest in
that
someone.
already kind of is the norm because of all this like Me Too and stuff. Like guys are like afraid to approach women because they don't want to get like a restraining order or like go to jail.
Right?
Yeah. And then like that's the whole thing behind Bumble. Like, we have dating sites where the women message first and stuff. Yeah. So
Is that what
kind of
Bumble's-
is like the norm now.
I never even heard of Bumble before. Interesting.
Is that their gimmick? Like the girls flirt first?
Bumble, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat. There is a rideshare service for women by women. It's all women drivers. Only pick women.
In Japan.
I think it was in Japan. And I always, maybe they don't have all the identity politics over there that we do now, because I identify as a woman, sir.
Japan is just unique in that it's just there's like a lot of sexism there. Please, Japanophiles, don't kill me for the love of God. There is a lot of sexism there, and then like there's a lot of gropers and stuff, and those women-only trains and those things. It's because they need it, because men would literally just. It's not even hi, you're cute. It's some creepy old man like fingering your panties like on the subway shit.
Damn.
Like, seriously, sexual harassment shit. So
Usually those are like I usually joke with the word panties, but that's probably like the worst sentence that I've heard panties in. Imagine that you're sitting on the freaking subway. Here comes some old man next to you. Hello there. Like, was it
he
Homicide
just
from
touches
Rama?
you. He doesn't even say hello, dear. He just straight up touches you, grab him by the pussy. Yeah, that goes on in Japan and the Middle East actually too.
Okay. Was it Homicide from Rama? The granddad used to steal panties. Was that his name? I remember what Ronald one had. He used to steal panties and run off, and I think he was the coolest character because he just stole panties all the time. The girls that put their panties on the line, and he'd run past like Speedy Gonzalez stealing food, and they whenever he would get hit, there'd be like panties falling out of him and everything. It was awesome.
You don't pick geek girls at a freaking bar.
Yeah,
Go online, Simon. I mean, geek girls are on Bumble, they're on Tinder, they're on Facebook, they're on Marble Disco, they're definitely on Pokemon Go. Like honestly, if you want geek girls, then pick geek girls through mutual hobbies. I mean, if you just want girls per se, just pick any girl. It's really simple.
Yeah, see, you gotta be careful because those Pokemon Go girls, they're hardcore. They walk around a lot.
Mystic level 35.
See, and then they'll be like, "What are you? What is your levels? Oh my god, you thought I was in your league? Look at your character. Look how weak your fucking Squirtle is. Get out of here, poser! Like, do you even walk?" I remember Pokemon Go when it came out. I was driving around with somebody.
And you stopped your car in the middle of the road, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everyone
almost
does
got in
that.
like 3 car accidents.
I remember making fun of people for that sort of shit, like walking off cliffs and getting hit by cars, I never understood Pokemon Go, like, have some guy creeping your yard looking for Pikachu. Like, I didn't understand it.
Septimus, do you have a shiny hundo?
A shiny hundo?
Yeah, a Pokemon with 15 and all 3 stats, and a shiny one. I have a shiny hundo Togekiss.
See, I know. I didn't. I tried to play it one
That's my
time,
buddy.
and then Lola took up playing
mine.
it. Did you?
Mhm.
See,
He's gonna be badass.
What?
This is Simon says exactly like it cons too.
Yeah, I tried Pokemon Go once. I caught some rare Pokemon while I was walking around the movie theater, and I was like, okay, I think I'm done now.
Could you imagine?
He didn't even stick around to catch Mewtwo. Like, back in California, I was raiding with my raid group, Pasket area raid group. Yeah, we rock. But anyway, we were just raiding, and we caught like Giratinas. I got a shiny Giratina. We were catching Mewtwo's. We were catching Rayquaza. It was a lot of fun, honestly.
I just remember people trying to get into different like restricted areas because like you don't understand. There's a Mewtwo back there, and I need to get behind that door. I know that's the Oval Office. I'm just gonna be in there for 10 minutes. I promise. I won't touch anything. And at cons too. I remember one con paid a lot of money to get their convention turned into a hot spot for Pokemon. Like it was like for 3 days, and people were walking around with their phones catching.
Chicago.
Yeah, that's how I met Hasket area raid groups, and also this one other Pokemon group run by a woman named Marina. I forget the group's name, but if you didn't put your name exactly the way she wanted it, she kicked you out of the chat.
Mm.
But they caught the most Pokemon, I remember.
Pokesnobs.
Because they were a bigger group.
Pokesnobs. Interesting.
Yeah. Katrina, have you...
Pokestops, gyms, you just meet them anywhere. See somebody with a phone near Poke Gym. Hey, do you play Pokemon Go? And they're most likely in a raid group. Yeah. And they'll invite you, and then there's going to be a thing.
Katrina, did you play it at all? Pokemon Go?
It's on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
But when I walk, I like to listen to music, and I can't do both at the same time, so I don't tend to play a whole lot.
I tried to
Mystic
play.
Instinct or Valor?
And then it got cold.
She said, was it Mystic Instinct or Valor?
It got cold. I didn't want to.
Are you red, yellow, or blue?
Man, I gotta get my phone out now.
I could send you my trainer code. I mean, if you want to send gifts and stuff. Yeah, it's like really cold out where I'm living right now too. But
yeah, well, it's cold all over the country right now. I believe it.
There's like snow.
Yeah, I believe
I came back from work today and snow was hitting my face.
We've been smited.
Yeah.
Now I don't have any
Excuse me.
games on my phone anymore. I wish I did. That'd be awesome.
I don't have enough space on my phone for games.
Yeah.
I barely even use my phone as it is. Like I don't even travel around with it or anything. It's like sitting there. It's been unpowered for like 4 days. You know.
Sorry. My roommate has like 2 tomcats, and you know how tomcats get. They're always territorial and fighting with each other for dominance.
Sounds like the real world.
I didn't realize the volume on my phone was all the way up.
Rob, I saw your message. Did someone not shout out your website? Did someone not shout out Indie Advocates Creative Written Sins? Someone used it. I guess using Rob's site for content and not even shouting them out. That sucks. That sucks when that happens.
That's rude.
Is it you? Is it you, Larry? Are you using?
I shared something to the Indie Advocates yesterday when I had Vicky on. I first time I ever shared like a Rebel Comics video to there. But yeah, shout out to Rob Anderson. He does do a lot for independent comic books. He runs the Indie Advocates website. He's always like doing the SuperCon highways and asking people what their next events are.
Hey,
And
I
at
thought
one
we
point,
were supposed to be pimping out other sites, Varian.
Well, listen. You're on a show that's steeped in the patriarchy. Even though this is Lola's show and it's GeekGasm, we're looking out for each other. Men, MRAs. Anyway, sorry.
MRA.
No,
That's what I get blamed for being. That's what the guy called me when I got booted out of the con. I was an MRA. I had to go look it up in fucking Urban
Because you
Dictionary.
weren't siding with the women who made the allegations.
Yeah.
So
Well, that was
obviously
just it.
you must be a rape apologist. That's how they view it, honestly. They see you as a rape apologist for not automatically taking the accuser's side. And there were a lot of accusers, so it does look like legitimate, even though he was never charged.
It doesn't look legitimate,
that's
though.
from
Not
their
until they go to
perspective,
court.
honestly.
To me, that's the thing. If it's legitimate, they would have filed a police report.
You know what? You know what's odd about you Canadians? even when having civil discourse, how us Americans like this? Are they? Yeah. Larry, you're wrong. She's a woman. She knows what she's talking about. I'm just kidding. No. I do though. I believe that Vic may have gotten Vic was in a bad spot, and he may have gotten from everything that I've heard, he got I don't say snowball. Snowball is not the. He got railroaded.
Yeah, he did.
And he's he says that's okay. I run all.
That's okay. I run all sites.
Here's the thing. It used to be a time where you were innocent until proven guilty. Now, by the court of social media, you are guilty until you can somehow eke out a proof of innocence, and it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's got to stop.
Simon in Canada. What?
I'm used to that.
No, the only reason I said something,
Canada.
you might have missed it. When I first came on, I introduced myself, including the site that I run, and I got chastised.
I did. I chastised. I said, "Don't you dare mention geekorama.net. Don't you dare." But it's fine. She can mention it. Geekorama.net is her site where she covers all types of comics. And since we're running out of time, Lola, did you have any final questions? Actually, though, while I'm here, why I got everybody?
I'm still trying to figure out Pokemon Go over here, and wanting to know why it thinks I walk kilometers.
What do you think about this question?
Oh, because you need to hatch eggs. That's why, and collect candies.
Even though I don't walk in kilometers.
Oh, you have to turn on. Well, it'll have your character automatically walk while you're idle. Yeah, I didn't even know it did that. What you have to do is like turn on the adventure sync thing, and then like I don't know. It's just I didn't even walk the whole night, and I opened my Pokemon Go, and all of a sudden,
I just wanted to say I walk miles, not kilometers. I don't speak kilometers.
This is my little brother's favorite show. You've made a man out of him, JD. What?
Yeah, that was the one that was earlier. We got that one. Those are all those questions.
I guess I don't think there's anything wrong with a hot ass chick using her looks to sell her comics. Use what God gave you and make those ends. Germs?
Yeah.
Oh, germs.
Well, you got to do what you got to do, I guess, right?
Yeah. And then
look. Let me just interrupt
having your
that.
ass
that
slapped
for a
at a
second.
crowded con by a stranger, but how would you deal with a sexually aggressive fan boss man? That's a good question.
Yeah. Well, we asked, but how would you deal with that? Would you hit him with the Niobe power blast, or would you kick him in the nuts?
That's
Vicky?
for you, Vicky.
Yeah. How would you deal with that?
Oh, that's for me. I don't have a comic, but okay. I mean, it's a sexually aggressive man. No matter whether you're at a comic or the ice cream shop or the street or Japan, even, you fucking go right for his eyes, and then you go right for his fucking balls, then you go right for his throat, and then his temples, and then you knock him out by disabling his knees by like pushing behind his knees. And then you fucking head smash him. Yeah.
Damn, Vicky.
But what if it was a female?
And if you had like 2 rattan sticks, which is like 2 sticks that were really hard, like, oh my god, you could do so much damage with that. I remember there's like this move in Human Weapon where they used like a limb lock so that they can't punch you or anything. And then you just bam right in the temple or anything. Or even the ribs. Because like your rib cage is protecting all your vital organs. So yeah.
So how could so much violence be wrapped in a tiny little Asian package?
Honestly,
I don't
and then if you don't want to go to
now.
jail, of course, you call the police or you call like security.
What?
Yeah.
You're trying to frighten me, Vicky.
Jesus Christ!
I don't fight.
So I bet not. You kill. You don't fight.
Names of murders, dude.
And another Canadian, Simon, who's one of my favorite Canadians. One of my favorite. So I guess Lola, we can end the show for today. I want to thank everybody for being here with us. I would remind you guys though that you can check out Indie Vote TV on your Roku. It is free, 100% free. You can check out independent movies, all streamed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, it's like Netflix, so you choose what you want to watch. But Indie Vote TV on the Roku. And then, if you want to hear this later on, you can do that if you have an Android phone or an Apple phone. iPhone, Apple phone. Can't talk tonight. Need a nap.
The nap. It's
And-
like 11 o'clock.
A nap and a hot shower. You can take Indie Vote Radio with you wherever you go. Introducing Indie Vote Radio, the perfect companion to our official website, indievote.com. Indie Vote Radio plays the best in indie music, entertainment, news, and more. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Hear music from talent like Chemical, Park Squares and Alleys, and Dimswan. Download the Indie Vote Radio app on Android's Google Play Store or listen in with the streamer app on iOS. You can also check out Indie Vote Radio by visiting our official site, indievote.com, and utilizing the built-in player right there on the front page.
Yay!
Yeah, I got to do all of that. Awesome.
And they can see you tomorrow on the Breakfast Buds.
Crap, that is tomorrow morning.
It is.
Early morning for you, brother.
I just want to sleep. I didn't sign up for this. All I want to do is draw comics, and I'm a web host. Okay. So where can they find you, Vicky, online? If people want to mess with you on Twitter, or maybe don't give me your Facebook, but if they want to contact you.
There was an incident on Twitter. I don't go on Twitter anymore. Well, I have that Instagram of mine. Okay, my Instagram, my personal art Instagram is Satine Won, SATINEWON, and that's my Instagram account. And then my Niobe cosplay account is official Niobe cosplay or official Niobe cosplay. Yeah.
Okay. Larry, where can they find you?
Probably underneath a dumpster somewhere, but
Come on, why would I hurt? I was just. I mean, the self-defense
Rebel
thing.
Comics and Gaming on YouTube is pretty much where I do all my shenanigans. I do a lot of gaming, some comic book talk. Last night was a lot of fun. 3 hours worth of ride and busting each other's balls. So you can find me there, Rebel Comics and Gaming. On Twitter, it's Niobe Comic. On Instagram, it's Niobe Comic. On Facebook, it's Niobe Comic. Not a hard guy to track down, but if you really, really are interested in what we're doing, you got 3 days left, man, to go over to Kickstarter, look up Niobe, back our project, get a hot Paul Green cover. Maybe you're a Steph Wilson fan, get the Steph Wilson cover. Maybe you're an RB White fan, get the RB White cover. Or Samir Simeo. 4 great covers, great art inside. Man, just go check it out. Go check it out.
Larry, everything's Niobe Comic. What happens when you do a comic that isn't Niobe?
That'll still be underneath the same brand. Because I
Okay.
am going to do
Isn't there a comic coming up based on the villain of Niobe?
Well, that's already been made. It's
There's
called
a spin-off. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll probably do a Vonnie #2 at some point. But I also have this other book called Angel Elite that I'm working on. that will you guys. It's about a superhero team of chicks with wings that all think they're angels. So that's coming down the pipeline, and then I want to do a fantasy book based on like some of my D&D world and stuff like that, where it's going to be a girl who is basically from a savage tribe, and the tribe gets wiped out, and she's got to make her way, in life.
Katrina. Besides geekorama.net,
Yes.
where can they find you?
Well, Twitter is at Katrina Roets, Roets, just like on the screen there. Instagram is at Life with Katie. If you're looking for editing or anything like that, you can go to lifewithkatie.com. I really should start remembering it's catscratchpress.com, but that's a new thing for me. If you're looking for comic reviews and that kind of stuff, reach out to me through Geekorama. We do comic reviews and Kickstarter promotions.
Excellent. And of course, I'm Marian Grant. You can find me on Facebook, on Twitter at kid_v. I'm on, I think I'm on Instagram at that one kid, like that _1_KYD. Yeah. Anyway, you can find me all over. I'm all over the internet. Come say hi. I don't bite. That's probably what you heard. Lola, anything?
I can be found pretty much anywhere you are. Last Call, Indie Vote, and GeekGasm.
And I want to thank everybody for watching. We appreciate it. Simon, we're going to get you on our show again because we want to talk to you about your.
Varian, you lost your voice or something.
Oh, I did, didn't I? That's right. Sorry, I had my mic muted. I always mute my mic for some reason. So yeah, we're gonna have. I gotta get you back on here, Simon, pretty soon. I want to talk to you about Blood Hunt. So yeah, that's it.
You go.
Yeah. We have an all Canadian episode. We'll change everything in the background. I'll let you guys tell me how much America sucks, and it'll be great.
America does
In
suck.
the background,
you know?
the pet beaver. We all wear our toques.
It
You know what I
does.
mean? Like, drink beer on stream. You know. Okay?
I'm kidding.
I remember my friends from Canada. He said the states suck, man. I'm like,
Well,
But
it
we-
does because Canada has like free healthcare or something, right?
Yeah.
We do.
And in America, it's like nobody wants to be a meal ticket, but everybody wants to be a customer. So there's a lot of exploitation that goes on in this country.
Oh,
Yeah, I would hate to live in a country where if I broke my arm, it's going to cost me $20,000 to have it fixed. That just sounds
If you go to the emergency room, they're going to charge you $5,000, and if you don't pay up because you don't have Medicare, then it's going to go on your credit score and negatively affect your credit.
It's
Mhm.
just
True
absolutely
story.
ridiculous. And I'm not one that's big in the American politics or anything, but I can't see why that if Canada can have healthcare, why a rich country like the United States can't do it. You know.
Because
Because we
No,
owe
I know
there's no
everybody.
handouts here.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Marian, thank you for having me and Vicky on the show.
No problem. It was Lola loves having people on. She has a much more free form show than we have on Indie
do.
World Live.
Anything goes on this show.
Simon says anytime, and he will get himself a flannel shirt, a kilt.
The kilt.
I would like to see that, Simon.
Thank
Sounds
you
like
for
Roddy Piper right there, you know.
That's a
Yeah.
kilt's not really a Canadian, but okay.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
more
for
of a
watching.
Scottish thing, but I mean, in Canada we have a lot of Irish and Scottish roots. Like myself, I'm Irish and Scottish, right?
Yeah.
So my grandparents are from Ireland. The other set, is from Scotland. So I get it.
Cool. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see everybody tomorrow morning on Indie Vote Live, 9 a.m. Very early in the morning.
I won't be on there.
Yeah, she won't be there. I'll
I'll
be
see
there.
everybody Tuesday night at 9
Yeah.
p.m.
Everybody have a good night. I hear someone's cat.
I probably won't be invited to any more live chats, but thanks for having me.
Oh, we'll have you back. We'll have you back.
Oh my
Yeah. We'll have you back. Don't
I
worry.
want to see
Yeah.
your cosplay when it gets put all together. And we need to talk more. So yeah, you'll definitely be back on the show.
Oh, I'm gonna bother her now.
They
I'm
need
giving
more
a thumbs up,
females on
Casey.
the show, Vicky. Maybe you'll make random appearances, or maybe even be a semi-regular. God, who knows? But
Yeah. We'll bring Vicky on all the time.
You
Yeah.
guys are awesome.
screw that Larry bum.
Yeah, man, Larry. Don't worry about Larry. How are you doing today, Vicky? Thanks for watching the Indie Vote GeekGasm. We will see everybody back here live next Wednesday, actually, at 9 p.m. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye.